The bright lights of Madison Square Garden burned a little hotter on Thursday night as the New York Knicks clawed their way back from the brink of playoff elimination, stunning the Indiana Pacers with a commanding 111-94 victory in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The building buzzed with hope, sweat, and urgency. New York's basketball heartbeat, long dormant in the spring, pounded once again. But if you were expecting Charles Barkley to join the chorus of renewed optimism, think again. In a moment that perfectly captured Barkley's signature blend of raw honesty and biting humor, the NBA Hall of Famer and TNT analyst took a not-so-subtle jab at the Knicks' championship hopes and their most famous fan immediately following the win. It all went down during TNT's Inside the NBA, where legendary filmmaker and lifelong Knicks diehard Spike Lee joined the crew to bask in the afterglow of the win. Lee, decked out in Knicks blue and orange as always, was gushing about his undying loyalty to a franchise that hasn't hoisted the Larry O'Brien trophy since the Nixon administration. "I would give up an Academy Award, an Oscar, for the Knicks to win a championship," Lee said, leaning into the emotional weight that generations of Knicks fans carry. "I got two already." That's when Barkley pounced, his timing as sharp as ever. "You gonna keep them?" he fired back, barely holding back a grin. The TNT set erupted in laughter. Even Lee, known for wearing his heart on his sleeve when it comes to the Knicks, couldn't help but chuckle, though the sting of Barkley's words cut deeper than just late-night comedy. "I'm sorry, I said it out loud," Barkley added with mock regret. "That was supposed to be my inner voice," veteran host Ernie Johnson Jr. chimed in, reinforcing the moment with the kind of wry humor that's made the TNT crew appointment viewing for basketball fans. "There's no filter on this guy. You've known him long enough. If he thinks it, it's coming out." For Barkley, a former MVP who never minces words, it was more than just a dig. It was a blunt reminder that one good night doesn't rewrite 50 years of basketball heartbreak. His skepticism was clear. This version of the Knicks, even with the electric play of Jalen Brunson and a home crowd that roared with every bucket, isn't about to end a half-century drought. But for one night, New York felt like it mattered again on the NBA's biggest stage. With their season hanging by a thread, the Knicks didn't just survive, they dominated. From the opening tip, it was clear that this was a different team than the one that looked sluggish and outmatched in Games 3 and 4. Jalen Brunson, playing with a mix of grit and grace that has become his trademark, poured in points and set the tone. The Knicks moved the ball with purpose, swarmed the Pacers on defense, and played with the kind of desperation that turns crowds into cauldrons. "Our backs were against the wall," Brunson said post-game. "We had to come out swinging, give it everything we had." Swing they did. The win sent a jolt of electricity through a city that's been starving for playoff relevance. Madison Square Garden, often referred to as the Mecca of basketball, lived up to its billing. Celebrities dotted the front row, the crowd was feral, the noise deafening, and at the center of it all, Spike Lee, pacing, praying, pumping his fist like every possession might be his last. Still, the history looms. No team has ever won a conference finals series after dropping the first two games at home. That's the mountain the Knicks now have to climb. Game 6 in Indiana won't just be another test, it will be a war. The Pacers are younger, faster, and hungry in their own right. They've tasted the lead in this series. They've felt the Knicks wobble, but now they'll have to close it out in front of their home crowd with momentum shifting toward New York. Barkley may not believe, but that's nothing new for Knicks fans. Doubt is the air they breathe. Pain is part of the journey. From Reggie Miller's dagger threes to decades of false hope and front office fumbles, this franchise has made heartbreak an art form. And yet, here they are, still swinging, still dreaming, still fighting for a shot at basketball immortality. Whether the Knicks can silence Barkley and everyone else who's written them off remains to be seen. But Thursday night reminded the basketball world of one thing: this team, these fans, and that city. They're not going quietly. Game 6 tips off Saturday night in Indiana. The Knicks are still underdogs. The odds are still long. But if they can bring the same fire, the same defensive tenacity, and the same Brunson brilliance, they just might drag this series back to the Garden for a Game 7 that would be nothing short of epic. And maybe, just maybe, they'll make Barkley eat those words.